You have many relationships with different people in your life, down from your boss to your parents to the person at reception, your friends, all kinds of people. And it's important that in any relationship that you realize why you are in that particular relationship. What's the point of it? See, as you grow up, you're going to find that very few relationships are end in themselves. For the most part, you're in relationships because they either help them or help you achieve some objective that you have, or that relationship is necessary for something. They advance some interest of yours or whatever. Most of the relationships you have are means to ends. And it's an ugly truth about adult life that I've been learning. As a young adult, I'm 22, turning 23 in a few days. It's an ugly truth that I've seen. And a lot of people don't like to talk about it. It's like a taboo. People like to pretend it's not the case. People prefer to make things up for suggestion because it makes things feel less transactional. It makes relationships feel less transactional. You have a boss at work and you put up with his shit. Why? Because you're such a great person? No, it's because you need the job, you need the money. You're putting up with him or her for a reason. In other relationships in your life, even very close personal relationships, with the ones with your parents, your lover, your best buddies, you should ask yourself, why are you in this relationship? And don't just say some shallow response of, oh, it's because I love them. Oh, it's because they're such a great person. Oh, it's because she is my friend. No. Get to the core of why you are really there. And also, why are they there? Sometimes it can be an ugly truth. And sometimes it can feel icky to have to make this calculus. It would be wonderful if we could drift through life and all our relationships are ends in themselves. Being friends with people just because you like them. That would be wonderful. But that's often not the case. Many times we spend an inordinate amount of time with people who we've forgotten why we're with them. And it's sort of like the momentum of the relationship just carries us forward. And we're locked into something that in many ways has reached its expiration date. Relationships, friendships that no longer play any significance in your life. They are just there because it's someone you knew from back in the old days. Someone who once did something great for you 10 years ago. But in present times, they don't really play any role in your life. They're just a seat that's filled, and your attachment to them, of those memories, is the glue that's keeping things together. You'll find that happens a lot in life, and you'll find the flip side too. You'll find that sometimes you have to cultivate relationships with people you don't really like. They're not your favorite people in the world. Sometimes you can't even stand them. But you have to cultivate these relationships because they advance some interest of yours. And it's all very nice to talk about how you should only hang out with people that you adore and people who you admire greatly. And you should only be friends with people you think are cool, people you think are awesome, people who do cool things all the time. It's all good and fine to say that. But as you grow up, you realize that's immaturity. The truth is you often have to make friends with people you don't really admire, people you don't really want to hang out with in order to achieve something that you've set your mind to get the things that you want out of life. You can't always get it from your favorite people. If you want to get good at business, the number one skill that you need is your people skills. How good are you at understanding why people want to buy what you're selling? Who is your consumer? Who's your client? And what do they want? What kind of person are they? What are they looking for? And how can you provide them with what they're looking for in the most invisible way possible? The best form of marketing is marketing that doesn't feel like marketing. The best form of sales is having a conversation that draws you in and makes you want to buy something. The best business partners are those who have something that each person needs, and they both fulfill those needs in a way that looks invisible, in a way that doesn't feel transactional. It's important to make this calculus, not just for you, but for the relationships that you have. Why are they in your life? What are they getting out of this relationship? And am I maximizing what I'm providing? Or am I giving crumbs in a way? Am I teasing? Am I putting a carrot on a stick and I'm not providing them with that thing that they're here for? You'll also find relationships that are genuine ends in and of themselves, and those are rare. When you find someone that you like them and they like you, not for any particular reason, like a transactional thing, they're giving something to you and you're giving something to them. You just enjoy being around each other. Sometimes you don't even talk, but you still enjoy it. There's still something about their presence that fulfills you. Sometimes you can go many years without seeing this person, and you can still pick up things right from where they left off. You will never be a stranger to one another. You need to hang on to these relationships because they're rare and special. Because you'll be surprised how most of your relationships are means to ends, and the moment that you are no longer able to fulfill that end, you'll be surprised how quickly people become strangers in the blink of an eye, and how much you really don't matter to a lot of people, no matter how intimate they can make things feel between you two. You have to analyze every relationship that you have, and the relationships that you have that you realize are ends in and of themselves, you want to hang on to those ones. You want to create space for them. Those are your real friends that love you no matter how much you change, no matter what seasons you go through. Most of the people in your life are there for a reason, and it pays you to know what that reason is so that you can maximize it or to let it loose if you don't see the need for it. I'm making this video because when I was younger, one of the things that happened to me all the time was I'd confuse a relationship. I would confuse an acquaintance relationship for true friendship. I would confuse kindness from people as intimacy. Sometimes even in recent years, business-related relationships, I'd confuse it as friendships. This often happens. It's important you understand these things. They're not your friends. They're your work colleagues. They're not your friends. They're your clients, or you're their customer. They're not your friends. They have a motive, and being close to you advances their agenda. They're not your friends. You have something that they want. They're not your friends. They are cultivating a relationship with you to achieve business ends. The reason I'm saying all of this is because almost every relationship that you have often foments this feeling of intimacy, of friendship. We humans create that sense of intimacy, and we don't do it out of malicious intent. It's just that we're humans. We're built that way to create intimacy. You know, many years ago, we all lived in tribes and villages, and we needed that foundation of creating, cultivating intimacy to develop trust with one another. And we still do it today. It's just the difference is that we live in almost like a global society in a way. You know, you do it with the cashier, you do it with the person at reception, the garbage man. You know, you're kind to people not because you want to be their friend. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this properly. It's similar to that example that I gave in another video, where I said that there are some women out there that don't know how to have friendships with males, with the opposite sex. They almost cultivate a romantic bond with men, but genuinely, sincerely just want friendship. But they don't know how to do that because they're so practiced in developing romantic attachments that even when she just wants friendship, she doesn't know how to do that. It's similar to that. But it's with this intimacy that strangers create with you. They don't want to be your friend. They just want to be decent human beings, but they're not practiced in creating those boundaries that you are not my friend. You know, when that happens, don't confuse it as friendship. It's almost like when you enter into an office job, an office environment. You'll often find that when you get hired for a job, you'll find a lot of people saying things like, oh, we're like a family, you know, we support each other, we all love each other here, it's all positive vibes and stuff. And you'll find like charming people who give this vibe that you're friends. Sometimes these people can invite you to social dinners or, you know, get-togethers. And it seems very friendly, it seems very intimate. But know that this intimacy has a purpose. They're using human nature for intimate connections to produce productive results. It's a friendship built on a transaction. They might like you and genuinely think of you as a great person, and you may like them and think of them as a great person too. But always know the reason why you are in the room. Always know what your underlying motive is as well. I'm not just talking about other people, I'm talking about you too. The lesson I'm trying to put across in this video is have conscious relationships with the people in your life. Don't just go with the flow. Craft a boat and sail through the ocean to where you want this boat to go. Understand why you are in that relationship so that you know exactly where the line is, so that you can enjoy these relationships for what they are without overstaying your welcome in them and without allowing others to overstay their welcome in your life too. Read the room so that you can play your cards right without getting lost in the illusion of the natural social human intimacy that all of us create, and forgetting their and your objective, so that you don't build and lean on the wrong relationships for the wrong things. Growing up is learning that not everyone that helps you is your friend, and not everybody that you fight is your enemy. So with all that said, thank you for listening, and until all are one.